Hi, this is Gadi Elkan with Silid Film News here with the Dallas International Film Festival, and we're here with the team behind Big Spoon. Ladies, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Carlyn Hudson, the co-writer and director of The Big Spoon.
I'm Mallory Culbert, the co-writer and lead actress of The Big Spoon.
First of all, welcome home, basically.
Thank you, yeah.
Can you guys talk to me about where this first came from? I really want to hear the origin story of, because there's so much of it that seems true to life and experiences that you've obviously experienced yourselves. It seems taken directly from experiences you've gone
That's
through.
good. Mm-hmm. Since it wasn't.
Right, we're really good. We just write that natural of situation. No, Mallory and I met at an Austin Film Society event.
Mm-hmm.
And and then you had the idea already. You had the story outline, and then she came to me. I was looking for a feature direct, and I really loved Mallory, and so we kind of went from there.
Yep. And you knew that inside scoop about the original title. So it started out as a 10-page outline that I had gotten going with an actor in mind to play opposite me, but I'm not a director, don't want to direct, but also didn't want to, the odds of a low-budget indie, a director being like, I'm going to do someone else's script, are super slim. And Carlyn was a young woman wanting to make her first feature, and I thought, perfect. And then our friendship grew really exponentially from that offsetting, I kind of left behind the outline and gave her rein to put her ideas out there. And then we started the collaborative process in the script. And it was a lot of back and forth because we each have really actually different sensibilities. So I'm more of a detail person. She has a lot more good ideas for arcs because she's a director. And so from there we started raising financing, and we were both based in Austin at the time.
Super easy to raise money.
Yeah, so easy. We
great.
Just actually thought, let's just go to our bank accounts and make a movie. No, we didn't. But it was a great experience working with her and watching us both do something we hadn't done before. It was a learning curve the whole time, but empowering. And we have female producers who were based in Austin, and then also a guy. There are guys involved with it too. One, and then actors. But it was, so that was the origin of it. And Carlyn became one of my closest friends, and she may end up being my only collaborator on a feature I ever have because it was a really long journey. She'll, I'm sure, continue making features, but I've written other scripts, but the amount of time you have to put into getting one to fruition is why this is also so special. And growing up in Dallas, I really wanted to end up playing here.
It's nice, yeah. Well, making that jump from actress to writing, because we've seen you in Arlo, which you were great in, by the way.
Thanks.
Making that jump, what was the choice? Because you've kind of traveled New York, LA. You've been in Austin. When did you decide I really want to create something?
Well, actually, there's a guy who just came back to Dallas whose name is Dallas, named Dallas Saunier. And years ago, I met with him in Los Angeles, and he said he was, I think, Greta Gerwig's first manager. And he said, do what Greta did, write a script that you'll actually act in. I was writing stuff that was period pieces that needed millions of dollars, and then acting-wise was doing ba-doom boom ching, commercial auditions and wanting something I could sink my teeth into. And I had an improv background. And then he said, screen it at film festivals, invite me to come, and then I can represent you. And I was like, okay. And actually, I ended up doing that, and I just let him know recently that I did what you said. It took 5.5 years, but I did it.
Where's my contract?
Yeah. And so as an actor, you have a lot of moments where you intellectually aren't stimulated, and you're thinking, I got into this to have a psychologically deep artistic, creative growth, and I wasn't getting that in a lot of stuff. Arlo and Julia was a really great project that by accident ended up being a kind of festival darling, but when I went to shoot that, I shot out in a few days, and it was a nice experience, and I laughed on set, and I liked the people I was working with, but doing the feature was a whole evolution in terms of perseverance I had never been through. So that was good for me, and it was made me appreciate producers a lot more. and it made me appreciate directors a lot more. I had no idea just how much commitment producers who are with a project from the beginning had to have for a lot of thankless years. I would say months, but years of work. And with Carlyn, you know, with our budget, she had to do so many steps of the process that usually you see someone else credited for, and she's just stepping in and doing that. And so it, you know, really made me feel more like part of a team. Whereas with acting, you're often like in and out, and you get some of the glory, but you don't really have the kind of camaraderie that you end up having when you've worked with people from the beginning on something.
Well, I'm going to ask Carlyn then, so you guys mentioned that you had another actor in place to play opposite you. That actor is so different than who you have for the film.
Yeah.
Like completely different
Yeah.
in every aspect. Having that switch just before you guys get to do the film, how difficult was that as a director? How much did you have to change to get, you know, Zach into this and make this what it is now, which is a really fun, quirky film?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was hard. I mean, it's always really hard. It's like, you know, we cast him days before. And
Literally. And
literally
Alex had
3
been
days.
the first person who even
Before me?
Yeah, before even Carlyn. I was writing the outline and running it by Alex Karpovsky from Girls. Anyways, he's great, but he is totally different from Zach.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex has what you think the character's going to be in an obvious way, and then Zach brought something unexpected. And
yeah, Zach has like a lightness to him that Alex doesn't necessarily have. And he's got like, he's kind of has some broad comedy parts to him, you know, that was that we had to roll with, I think. And like, so for me, it was about pivoting and learning like quickly what Zach's strengths are and playing into those, and the parts of his character, like the neuroses, we kind of let that go a little bit, right? Because it just didn't serve the character anymore. It was like on our feet pivoting, and you too, right? Because you had to respond to him, and it was great. I loved working with Zach. Yeah, it's just, you know, and it's funny how many people I've told that story and they're like, me too, we lost an actor days before, and I'm like, what are we doing? It's just crazy.
And then we saw your sister's sister.
Oh yeah, and Rosemary DeWitt
was
cast the day
last
before
minute
or something. It was just like, wow, so stressful.
And it shows her directing ability too, because one of our other leads was also a pretty last minute thing, and there were a lot of challenges and surprises on set that she had to work around and keep like her cool with, and she's a great leader. And so it was anyways.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about shooting, where you guys got to shoot, and in particular, I love one of my favorite scenes is the beginning with at the airport, where you have the crazy you know, he's on
Segway
the scooter,
cop.
Segway cop.
Dallas Love Field has one of those,
which is not
you
awesome.
might have
do?
seen. Yeah.
Oh, hilarious! Because we just thought, like, what a funny gag, this guy in a
They,
freaking
like stole it
Segway.
from you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like being able to shoot there in that area, and some of the locations, the house in particular, where you guys got to find? Tell me a bit about that.
It is funny that people, because now I'm based in LA, and when people are like, wow, you shot into the airport, like, whoa, that must have taken up all your budget. I'm like, it was like a couple $100. I mean, it's amazing how much Austin, and I'm sure Dallas too, just like opens their arms to filmmakers, and they want people to film there. Whereas in New York and LA, it's not really the case. They're like, oh, you're filming my house? That's $2,000, please. So it was great. I mean, it added a lot of production value, I think, to our film, because it looks like really cool and expensive, and also it was like it's the bookends of our film, obviously. So it was a nice moment. We were lucky that we got to shoot there.
And I've never thought about the metaphors. She's picking up, then she's taking off.
You never thought about that?
Well, maybe I did. But I think there are things that I've
thought of
almost
it.
forgotten until we revisit
That's
the
true.
film.
I'm like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like being able to tell a fluid relationship in this short amount of time? Because we get to see the full arc of this relationship and what happens to it. Not a lot of films necessarily get there. They get bogged down in moments. You guys get to tell us how this relationship goes and where it goes from there. It's pretty impressive.
Thanks.
I mean, I guess it felt good. I'm not answer your question.
I think
your
by
mom.
the end of the shoot, we
my
didn't
mom.
shoot chronologically, but I think Carlyn and I had the one thing I'll say that's good about having a long time to get ready to shoot something. Like once we had a start date, we'd already had years of being with the material.
Right.
So even though we didn't have the luxury of shooting chronologically, like from an emotional standpoint as a director and actor, you'd kind of like that, it'd be great. But we were so familiar with the frames of mind the characters were going to be in at certain points that when we had to do a scene that was meant to get you to a certain place by the end of the movie, we were so ready to have shot the movie and to have the story out there that I think it made it easier to maybe get that across in performance, at least for me. But
Yeah, that's true.
was that an answer to your question?
I think so.
Okay.
Sort of. Yeah,
It
let's
was
go.
an
with
You're a
it.
really good interviewer, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got to ask, as far as when you have to have battling relationships, and I love the sequences where y'all are battling, especially at the beginning, where there's these two groups that are fighting with each other. Talking about the dialogue that isn't, or not the dialogue, dealing with the script elements that aren't dialogue based, like the sounds of them making love in the background, and y'all trying to compete with that and giving up. It's like, screw this.
Yeah.
Working with the material that's not through the dialogue, how much fun is that as a director, trying to fit that in and trying to showcase it and trying to make it visual?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
That was really fun for me, and I love that kind of storytelling too. It's like sometimes it's the tiniest moments and parts of a scene that really make it special. And so that was I think it was great to be able to do that with this project. And also we were in post for about a year. So a lot of that came out in post, and stuff that we didn't think of on set necessarily we were able to bring out in the editing process.
How much did the film change in post?
Quite a bit. Well, so we had a big the party scene used to be at the front of the movie.
Really?
Yeah, when we wrote it, and I had this woman who she edited like The Wire and 30 Rock, and she's amazing.
Talk about a combo.
Good Lord, her name's
It's a weird
Meg. Yeah, she like advised the film, and we sat down for a few days and like just totally rearranged the film, and I think it worked a lot better. But it was that scene in particular, when we moved that towards the end, all of the other pieces fell kind of, we're like, well, what are we gonna do? And we had to do a lot of rearranging.
I didn't have to do that part. I just waited to see it, and then I saw it once people were already breathing a sigh of relief, which was great for me, because it's hard to see yourself on screen that much,
I won't watch this, It's just like, no, I will. I just like hate. I'm a director. I just hate being on camera.
Oh, you won't watch this interview?
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah.
I hope other people do too.
I know. I'm just kidding. I will.
No, she doesn't like to self-promote. I am shameless self-promotion. You have to be.
That's why you got.
Are you gonna edit this at all? I feel like it could be.
We do?
good to do that.
Oh, really? What about the compliment I gave you earlier?
We'll keep that in.
Okay, good.
Let's talk about being able to showcase it here in Dallas, being able to come home, and keeping it in Texas and being able to showcase it to a Texas audience. It's got to be refreshing. It's not just an LA audience that's seen all these types of films. I think this has a Texas flavor. It obviously has a lot of talent that's based here. It's going to be fun to have Texas people see this.
Yeah.
Carlyn, you want to go first?
What was the question?
Just about what
I
it's
don't know
like
if it
bringing
was a
it to
question.
Texas. Well, we premiered at the Austin Film Festival, but I grew up in Dallas, as I already said, but we have a lot of people who contributed to our Kickstarter and things like that who've heard about the project for years now. And so they haven't gotten to see it. And a lot of people in Dallas, luckily with Dallas, it has a great arts world and investment in the arts, but it's a big enough city in terms of ratio of how many people here are actually in the arts to how big of an audience you can potentially have, that the people who are in the arts might be a little like blasé in certain cities because, like you said, they're around screenings all the time. But here, it's like there's a novelty aspect to it. So people are like, I'm so excited to come to your screening. Not like, I hope I have time to come to your screening, which is how it is in Los Angeles or New York or even Austin sometimes. And she grew up in small town Texas, and I grew up in big city Texas. And so we have kind of a spectrum of responses, but I think for the most part, our family and friends have been really happy for us, and the warmth that comes from Dallas is incredible. The Dallas Film Festival is so loving.
Yeah, and organized. And
super
like
organized.
and sweet. Too.
Yeah. And we did a small film festival, or smallish town, at least, in Wilmington, North Carolina, at Cucaloris. And it was right after the election, and I'm not going to get political, but I'm just going to say it was great to have a feeling of community surrounding a film festival that felt like really warm. And I think that Dallas has like a super warmth that's both of us could use after, you know, we've both been in LA and New York, and it's nice to just feel like people are actually excited about
a warm Southern hug.
Yeah.
How much fun was it since AFF is a screenwriting film festival, it's all about the screenwriters. As the two who wrote this, how much fun was it to be at that festival? We're big fans of that festival as well.
I love Austin Film Festival. It's the level of talent they get for that festival is amazing, right? It's like walking into the bar and you see, oh, there's the guy that wrote the newest Star Wars, and she's the head writer on Community. Like, wow, it's just crazy the level of talent they have. So it felt really good to be included in that. Yeah, and because you can make a bad movie from a good script, but you can't make a good movie from a bad script. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a good script for it to be have a chance of being a successful film. You can't. You know, does that make sense?
Definitely.
And it's such a not phony festival. The people who run it just care so much about craft and story, and that's just it. They're not in it for the famous people coming around. They're not in it for the name dropping. Though I do like to say that the first time I went to the festival, which was when I was working on my first screenplay when I was in college, Sidney Pollack tripped over my backpack in the lobby of the Driscoll. He died, like, I think a year or two later, and I was like, not from falling over my backpack. Yeah, he didn't go to he tripped and didn't fall down. He tripped and went, oh, and I was like, oh, Sidney Pollack. But,
and that was the closest we got to Sidney.
But no, that was great. It's a great festival, and this is all of our festivals we've been to so far have had really different audiences, which is nice.
Yeah, I've never been to this festival, so I'm really curious.
And I have, and I love James and Sarah and the whole
so cool.
crew, and now Daniel.
Oh yeah.
And
you.
you.
Fellow filmmaker.
Yeah.
Well,
we were in a lab with Daniel. Remember that? We were
Was
in a
he in
screen.
that lab?
Yeah, he was in the AFS screenwriting lab.
He's so quiet.
Daniel Lobbs, he is.
Yeah, I
the
forgot
quiet wonder.
because I can be too loud sometimes.
Well, guys, to kind of showcase where we can find more about this film, will you tell us where we can find more about The Big Spoon?
Sure. I would go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/bigspoonmovie.
Something like that. If you search in the search bar, because
The Big Spoon movie.
Oh, yeah,
It's
at
on
the
our
Big
poster.
Spoon movie.
Thank God they put the poster.
Yeah, right.
Yikes.
And I
We
think
have a
we still have an
website
Instagram. We have an IMDb page, of course. And then,
Oh yeah, they should rate us highly. On
rate
IMDb.
us and put up
If you
a
didn't
review.
like it, just ignore the IMDb.
Yeah. And then we'll hopefully be still making the festival rounds. We're at the Hill Country Film Festival, which I think is in like a month or something, or maybe at the end of April. We're still hearing back from future spots. And then we'll get some sort of distribution and hopefully be able to say something as simple as find it on Netflix or find it on blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Well, definitely check out their Instagram because they'll be fun tonight with looking at some photos tonight. So here with the team from The Big Spoon, and thank you ladies very much.
Thank you.